Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all. We can see the game. That's good news. And the game is Pentiment. And I think that's wonderful. Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Kloss. I use they, them pronouns. You can see them right down there. If you haven't been keeping up with what's been going on with Pentiment, on the one hand, it's been quite a bit. On the other hand, we just started Act 3, and it's not a bad time to join in, all things considered. Certainly better than towards the end of Act 2. So, we're going to hop right in, and it will be easier for me to explain what's going on after we have something other than the main screen to look at. Do, 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 do. This is Mags, but she doesn't like to be called that. Magdalene Druckerian. Say up front, as I've been at least indicating throughout, I apologize for any mispronunciations. They're not intentional. But she lives in the village, the town? It might technically be a town. But the small assembly of people in a community of Tassing. And she has a broad understanding of Greek, Roman, Egyptian, etc. myths and German heroic tales. And she knows that because a certain artist by the name of Andreas gave her a book when she was very young on that subject. And Andreas used to be the main character that we were playing as, and now it's Magdalene. If you don't want to know about Act 2, you're sort of in a bad stream for that. But at the end of it, this will be your last chance if you want to enjoy this game for yourself and be surprised. In Act 2, at the end of it, Andreas runs into a burning library to save some books, and no one hears from him after that. And so now we're playing as Magdalene. Saint Satia's shrine. Martha especially likes to leave offerings for her. There's Martha. Hi, Martha. Agnes gathers chamomile here every year to prepare her cures for the coming year. Let's head up to the church, and the Druckers is go home. Drucker house, Drucker house. I'm not tired right now. The Rat House mural sketches. I think this is what my dad wants. I think these are all of the plans. What is this part of the plans? Stop. Huh. This isn't Dad's handwriting. I can actually kind of read this. Thank God he's a printer. Well, whatever. I'll bring it just in case. Alright, I'd better get these over to the Rat House. Hey again, Mags. Are you serious? I just told you not to call me that. And what are you all doing out here? Don't you have better things to do? What business is that of yours? Not me. All my work's done, Mags. What do you care? It's not like you've got important work to do. Am I a tinker? Do I maintain and tinker with the present type and sometimes work with Baltus? Do I do domestic work? Can handle anything connected with household or animal work? Or am I a don't warm up the old tongue and lips. Am I a bookkeeper? Proficient with balancing numbers and general accounting of data and information. I do like the fact that bookkeeping has 3 consecutive double letters. The double O, the double K, the double E. But it's the one I did last time on my first playthrough. So I think old Mags is a tinker. I keep the press running for my dad, and I work with Baltus on his inventions. There's Baltus. Baltus? That seems a little more important than standing around the commons in the middle of the day. Baltus's inventions are stupid. Doesn't seem like something a girl should be involved with, if you ask me. Shut up, Apollo. Right. No one did. Calm down, Mags. You're going to get a reputation. Too late to worry about that. She already has a reputation. Does Mags have barbs? Skilled at stinging, countering, and otherwise deflating people in conversation? Flirt was not as much fun as I hoped it would be. I will say that. It's not bad, but it's not all I hoped it would be. Haggle. Strong negotiator, whether it comes to finances or other matters of trade. A snoop. A penchant for sneaking around, eavesdropping on conversations, and passing gossip. Ooh, these are all fun. I love this game. I mean, they're all good. The problem is that they're all good. Josh Sawyer, you made options that were all too good. I feel like, so here's what I'm thinking. I feel like to help her with her tinkering, she has learned to negotiate a good price for those parts. So she is a haggle. You said that before and it doesn't make any sense. I bargain like a man? What does that even mean? Well, what it sounds like. You're still mad because I convinced Gret to give me her last pretzel on Friday. Let it go. Easy for you to say when you've got the pretzel. All right, we got it. Lay off. Did you get those things your dad wanted? Raven, welcome on in. Yes, that's why I was on my way to the Wrath House. Hopefully I can drop these off and start my reading for the day. Reading? What book is so important that you need to get back to it? Magdalene can't speak any foreign languages other than Italian, but she can read a little of almost all of them. Volksbücher. Magdalene is familiar with the most popular common books of the day, assorted trivia, almanacs, common knowledge, and scatological stories. Or, Magdalene has read a wide range of contemporary books on the Reformation and Counter-Reformation. Oh, juicy choices. I think it's one of these two. I think I did Reformation in my first playthrough, and I'm trying to do something different. I think a Volksbücher. Melusine. Esther sent it to me from Prague. There's Esther. Is that about the snake woman who takes off all their clothes? Sort of, but no, not really. Or at all. Ooh, does it have any pictures? Right, I want to see. Calm down, I'm not showing you lecherous dogs anything. Don't you read all sorts of books about knights and whatever? Yes, knights, princesses, gods, monsters, that sort of thing. I'm named after a god. I'm aware, Apollo. Yes, your sister, too. What's a good story about Apollo? Once he was so obsessed with a girl that she begged the gods to turn her into a tree so he'd stop bothering her. That sounds like you, Apollo. God damn it. Wait, Otz, aren't you supposed to be at the Wrath House too? You're on the council. Sure, but it's pointless without your dad's plans. Without your dad's plans. Let's go. Ugh, fine. I don't understand how we're still arguing about this. These murals should depict the truth, what we know is the truth. I don't think it's so simple, Klaus. Are you afraid of anchoring our Lord, Father Thomas? I think Father Thomas means that the truth is not so easily agreed upon. I don't know. I'm tired of arguing. I just want it to look nice and show what happened. Magdalene, thank you for bringing these. Maybe illustrations will succeed where talking has failed. I'm done arguing with them. I'll see you at home for supper. It's all right, Magdalene. We don't need to see the drawings. It's not that we don't understand what he's trying to do. I didn't realize we had upset him so much. Sounds like things got worse after I left. Well, we've been arguing about this for almost 2 hours. For all the good it did us. He hasn't budged. What's the point of talking if you can't make any progress? Magdalene, could you speak to your father, help him to see things from our point of view? So in the end, I ran to get plans that you don't want to see, and now you want me to do something else for you? I'm sorry, Magdalene. This all became a lot more contentious than we hoped. Klaus has strong, very strong opinions on how the history of Tassing of Kiersau Abbey should be portrayed. And those portrayals might upset some of our neighbors. Isn't the real concern that it's going to upset the Lord? Isn't everyone really worried about him coming here someday and seeing the revolt memorialized on the wall? To be clear, lowercase L Lord, the local person, not the capital L Lord, is the primary concern that Paul here has. You keep saying that we all disagree with him. I don't think I do. Not entirely. Well, what do you think, Jorg? I know I'm not the smartest man in this room, but I know what happened to my own dad. I know what he did. It doesn't feel right to ignore what happened to him, what happened to Otto. Look, you all knew my dad. I never had the chance. I don't want to make the people in this town angry. I don't want to make our Lord angry. None of us do. But maybe there's a way to tell this story in a way that's true without upsetting anyone. In a way that's true. Oopsie doopsie. In a way that's true. So, it's all very complicated. You see, Magdalene? I'm telling you that it's complicated because I disagree with what they're saying and I want my way. Try to get him to consider a portrayal of our history that's a little less inflammatory. I don't think it's as complicated as you all think. We need to come to an agreement or call the mural off entirely. He's been wanting to paint this mural for years. You can't tell him no all of a sudden. Then help us, Magdalene. Your father will listen to you. Fine, but only so he can paint it, not on account of you bickering like children. Now I'm going back home. This mess has already taken up too much of my day. Clock! We get a clock! Magdalene? Thank you for bringing the drawings to the Wrath House. I'm sorry it was a waste of time. Those men don't know what they want. When I tell them what I'm trying to do, they get scared. Then they talk and talk and talk. They talk all day, and we're never any closer to a decision. I'm sick of it. Sick of the whole thing. I like the little, you can see the little ink stains and splots on the floor. I think that's very nice. Can you just start working on it? If they don't like it, they'll have to figure it out for themselves. I could, but the first payment requires the council's approval. Damn it. I don't even care about the money. Maybe you're right. To hell with them. I didn't realize you were so upset about it. We hear all of these stories about what this place was, how it came to be. And it feels like history is something that happened before, happened to other people. But 18 years ago, we lived through something, you and I, everyone in Tassing. Everyone wants to forget about it, pretend it didn't happen. You don't. No, I don't. All those years ago, I did nothing. I was worried for you, worried for Benjamin and Rachel and Esther. That's the nice couple that was staying with them. And the baby that was born is Esther. Also, we got our friend the chameleon. Here's our friend the chameleon. A little bit ripped, this chameleon. You see those muscles? Goodness gracious. I was so afraid that I'd lose you. I wouldn't have been able to bear it. In the end, so many people died anyway. Peter and Ulrich and Andreas and all of the others. What is happening here? I don't know. I'm intrigued, but I don't know. And we lived. Dad, everyone says that it wouldn't have made any difference. If you and the others had fought, you would have died. I would have died. Maybe I could have stopped him from going to the mill. Or maybe we could have stopped the peasants from burning it down. But we'll never know. Is that what this is about, this mural? It's a chance to put something down in a place where everyone can see. If people start to forget, this will remind them. We were here. This happened. If we don't do it, if I don't do it, who will? Don't let it get to you. Too late. Well, at least try to get a good night's rest. Maybe things will be better once everyone's slept on it. I hope so. All the arguing has left me beat. I'm going to bed early. Alright, I'm going to stay up for a bit and write a letter to Esther. Good. Please, say hello to her for me. And her parents, I know, Dad. Good night, Magdalene. I love you. I love you too. All this running around has left me tired too. It'll be nice to sit down at my desk and just write for a while. Write for a while. All right, where to begin? I should write to Esther. Dearest Esther, I hope you and your family are well. Dad sends his regards to your parents like usual. I've spent the last few days collecting oak galls with Sister Gertrude. I don't suppose you have the chance to do that in Prague. Sister Gertrude has been teaching me how to grind them into a smooth ink. It's difficult work, but you'll find no better ink anywhere in Bavaria. I'll send along a bottle with this letter. Oh, did I mention? Dad started a new project. He's painting a mural of Tassing's history in our new Rathaus to memorialize the revolt. I should look up a Rathaus. It's a community hall where people meet, typically a council that governs day-to-day affairs under the authority of a lord. The whole thing has me thinking about my own family history, past, present, and future. The printing shop has been in the family for years. I'm looking forward to taking it over. Of course, Dad will keep running it until he can't pull the levers anymore, but I'll take over sooner or later. If I inherit the shop, I won't have to get married either. Christ, you would not believe how annoying Otz is. I think his mom is under the impression he's been courting me. Can you imagine? And yes, before you break the nib off your pen, I will come to visit you in Prague. I promise. I'll try to make time to visit before winter. Life has been bustling here. Dad's been busy with the Rathaus mural, so I've taken over in the workshop. I'm sure it will be a sight to behold once it's finished. Write back to me soon. All my love, Magda. Just checking things out. Hey, let's put out that candle. Hey, let's put out that candle, shall we? I thought you were going to bed. Hello, Magdalene. Go to sleep. Here's your bed. It's a nice bed. Why aren't you asleep in your bed? Ugh. Dads, am I right? Let's go out for a little walk. Just seeing if there's anything I can do here at the church. Mary, Mother of Jesus. Her painting has been here as long as I can remember. God bless you, Magdalene. I love this game very much. It is easily one of my top 5 games from the last year. It's the game's director is Josh Sawyer, who did Fallout New Vegas. Pillars of Eternity, I think is the name that they finally went with. So a lot of RPG type games. Yes, that is one of my favorite genres as well, the free on Game Pass. But you can see some of the experience of how to craft a narrative that flows in a certain direction without making it feel like you're being led in a certain way, and also giving you a lot of freedom. It's very good. It's very good. Highly recommended. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep. But having read and listened to some interviews they've done, they did their due diligence researching this game. I'm not going to say it's your best source of information on 16th century Bavaria, but it's a pretty good one. Ah! Dad? Dad? Magdalene. Dad! Hang on, I'm coming. Uh-oh. Dad! Magdalene. What happened? Are you alright? You're bleeding. Someone came into the house. They hit me over the head. I'll get Dr. Stolz. Try not to move, Dad. Magdalene, it's not safe. Whoever attacked me... This wound is too deep for me to take care of on my own. We need Dr. Stolz. Magdalene, be careful. I will. I'll be right back, I promise. Do you know why anyone would want to attack you, Klaus? No. Maybe someone didn't like one of the books I sold them. Are you sure you didn't see a shadow and hit your head on the printing press? Come on, Jorg. You saw the workshop. Someone was looking for something. A burglar? In Tassing? That's preposterous. Well, if it wasn't an attack, what was it? Enough. It was a deliberate blow to the head, unless any of you wish to debate my diagnosis. No, of course not. No, as I thought. Truthfully, Klaus, I'm surprised the blow didn't kill you. You have a strong skull. It's a grave injury. Magdalene, you'll need to help take care of your father. I will. Whatever I need to do. Good. Of course, the mural will have to be called off now. Klaus, you absolutely cannot get out of bed. No, no. It has to be done. This is too important. Just give me some time to rest. I'll find a way to make it work. I don't think we need to cancel the entire project. Can't we just wait? Wait? Klaus, your health comes first. Anyway, we haven't even been able to agree on what the mural should be. Indeed, it might be best to abandon the entire idea. With respect, Father Thomas, you are not on this council. Yes, just offering an opinion. I can paint the mural. What? Mags, quit joking around. Well, I know you want to help your dad, but aren't you too young for something this big? I love the barter option. I've been painting since before I could walk. You don't think I'm good enough? I'm old enough to run the print shop by myself, and Dad trusts me to illustrate the books. Isn't that enough? I'm older than Utz, and he's on the town council, and he doesn't even do anything. Oh, I do love to get in a dig against Utz. Let's skip this debate. Yeah, let's get in the dig at Utz while we can. Yes, I do. I do plenty for the town. Painting a mural this large and complicated will take a lot of skill and expertise. So? So that's why we were having your dad make it. He's been making art forever. I agree with Paul. Klaus needs home care. You're best suited for that, Magdalene, not a mural. What is that supposed to mean? Well, are you sure you're up for it? Physically, I mean. It's quite demanding. You'll be up on scaffolding and could fall. All right, I can see where this is going. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. You can second guess me all you want. My dad knows what it takes. I can do it, Dad. If you don't trust Magdalene to do the mural, to hell with the lot of you. Klaus. If you don't trust her, you don't trust me. I'll never do any work for this council again. All right, I say we let her. It doesn't look like we have much of a choice. Very well. All right, Magdalene, you can do it. But you still need to talk to us about what you're doing, all right? Fine, but I'm taking Dad's ideas into account. Well, we'll figure it out. Thanks, Magdalene. Rest up, Klaus. I'll do my best, Jorg. Magdalene, just a moment. Yes, what is it? I didn't want to say this in front of your father or the others. Your father is lucid right now, but his injury is severe. His current demeanor is misleading. What are you saying? Magdalene, there is damage to his brain. He may have a few weeks left, maybe even a few months left, but he's not going to survive. Can't we take him to see a surgeon? No, he can't be moved in this condition. In fact, he shouldn't move at all. Even if he could, I don't think the finest Italian surgeons would know how to deal with this trauma like this. So, he's just going to die? And there's nothing I can do about it? You can make him comfortable and you can enjoy the time you have left. I can help with palliative care. But time will run out before long. I'm sorry, Magdalene. Dad needs to be able to see the mural in its finished form. But I don't know how much time he has left. Werner said it could be a few months, or... God protect him. I'll pick up where Dad left off. He wanted to paint the history of Tassing from its earliest days to the revolt. I'll start with the earliest part of Tassing's history, the pagan tribes and the Romans. Then I'll move on to the founding of the Abbey and Tassing's saints. After that, I should find a way to represent our recent history. Depicting the revolt is important to Dad. People in Tassing might know some of the town's history, but not all of it. Dad said the library in Kiersau had the records. He was going to write the last prioress to see if she had any information. I should write to her now while I'm thinking about it. Alright, where to begin? Dad told me the last prioress of Kiersau knew something about the old history of Tassing. He said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna. Mother Illuminata? Yes, at Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Hey, Santa Margherita, you know what that is? It's a small town in the Republic of Genoa along the coast of the Ligurian Sea. Now you know, here's a frog with a fine little hat. There's two mean-looking fish. And here's an owl. In the context as a prioress? Or as a librarian? Or nun? Not nun. Not nun. Even though she is a ba-da-ba. Let's say it's a former librarian. I am the daughter of Klaus Drucker, Magdalene. We are printers from Tassing. You were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before that terrible fire consumed the place. I am writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rathaus. It's going to tell the history of our community, and of Kirsau as well. We have only legends and folklore, since, of course, all of Kirsau's books were destroyed in the fire. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town, when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the abbey itself, we would also be glad to hear of it. We would appreciate any help you could give us, and we hope you are well. My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the sisters after the fire. God bless you. Magdalene. Two hours later. If I want to finish the mural before Christmas, I should start planning tomorrow. I should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. But first, how's Pops doing? Magdalene. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No. I'm fine. You go on. All right. I'll come back and check on you later. Oh, it's late. I should get some rest soon. Oh, the passage of time. Passage of time? Early November. Ah, Mistress Druckerian. I have a few letters here addressed for you. To you. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Mother Illuminata wrote back to me. I hope her response helps me paint the mural. Mistress Druckerin, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. I remember you both, as your father would carry you between the rows of our library in its final years. I also remember your late mother and brother. God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discussed Tassing's past, it's likely they were as mythological as what your neighbors believe. That said, I remember one of the peasants, Tillman Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. I know he died during the revolt, but perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. I should also say that it's not true that all of Kirsau's books were destroyed by the fire. Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames. God rest his soul. In the aftermath of that terrible night, Cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not at the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Kiersau, the murder of Baron Rothvogel. He had mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassai, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. I had forgotten about it until now because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall that the late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia Tassai shortly before he died. We never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. Perhaps Prior Ferenc took it from the Baron after the murder. Ferenc had an interest in books of all sorts, of course, but it seems like an odd thing to do in the moment. Then again, only God knows why he did. Only God knows what he did and why he did it. Miklaus Haberel, the Baron's manservant, believed that it may have been stolen from the town by thief Martin Bauer. By the town thief, Martin Bauer. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man has passed from this world, perhaps his family knows where the book wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as sacristan, Prior Matthew learned a great deal about the subject. A sacristan. Hey, let me tell you about a sacristan. It's the appointed official in a monastery responsible for maintaining the sacristy, where vestments and objects used in ceremonies are kept. The sacristan is also often the treasurer. Maintain. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know he is now the Archdeacon of Sion. That was once a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. Sion became the capital of Valais when the canton joined the Swiss Confederacy following the Swabian War in 1499. He is no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name. Faucini Sao? I'm very good at the pronunciations and I get them all right. If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before snow covers Valais. That's a canton in the Swiss Alps. Valais became an associate member of the Swiss Confederation in 1529. I've got a question for you. What are the benefits of being Swiss? Well, the flag's a plus. The flag's a plus. Folks, please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend to the Abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will towards anyone from Tassing. I pray that you have seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margarita. Oh, Esther wrote to me as well. My dear Magda, my parents were glad to hear from your father. Please tell him they wish to hear from him soon. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I've made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elisha has taken to making his owning from scraps he has found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market. She set him scrubbing the floors for it. Took him 3 days. I am glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. And if you do take over the shop in Tassing, you'll have to make visits to Prague for supplies. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet someone here. I've made a good match, too. There's a young man at the synagogue, Simond, who caught my eye. His father is a doctor, and his brothers have all gone to university as well. I'd quite like to marry him. Anyway, I hope this Oates fellow and his mother don't give you too much trouble. You really ought to give men a chance, Magdalene. They can be quite sweet. At least, the ones here in the city are. Please, keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come see when it is finished. Blessings, Esther. I'll have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home. And check on Dad. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I can bring up something light, like milk or broth. No, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather told him any stories. Illuminata said he used to read about the Romans. There's Black Till. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. Right, yes, Mother Illuminata. Young Kreutzer has mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found something interesting. Some interesting old ruin out in the fields. You might ask him about that. Il Peter's always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. I didn't think of that. Thanks, Dad. Of course, Magda. It feels nice to feel useful, even if I am stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. Good old Smokey. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods around town than anyone else. That, and he's a known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the ruins. You may hear something worth your while, at any rate. I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to know whatever is left over from the Romans and before. The salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. You take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. You always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, all right? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know why Jorg doesn't keep them in line. Always making trouble, those two. There's Jorg. They don't have brains enough to keep out of trouble. I do. Nah, don't worry about me, Dad. I'll be careful. Good. I still need you to run the press for a little longer, after all. Don't forget about your other chores while you're running around town, all right? We still have a household to run. Don't worry. I'll get everything done. That's my girl. I'd better get going if I want to do all of that today. I'll see you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. When you were young and your life was a missing book. So, wrong button. Why did I think Y was B? Or vice versa. You can go to the Kreutzers. You can go to the Gertners. We can go to the old salt mine. We can go to the charcoal burner and see Smokey. I think we had something to go see up at the monastery. Not a monastery anymore. Convent. Monastery got burnt pretty badly. I should ask around, see if Martin... I'm gonna go ask, at the old the definitely Martin Bauer farm. Hi, Brigitte. Magdalene, how are you keeping? I'm eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. I'm certain it will be the pride of Tassing whenever you're through. You've always had your mother's talent for art. And how is your dad? You're one of the only people who have asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Your self disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you, carrying that weight alone. I remember when my dad fell. We cared for him best we could, but those few months before he passed were a tough time for everyone. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. God willing, you're right. I'm at his mercy. God willing. Amen. Have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? Dad would want me to keep up the printing press. Wouldn't that be a sight? Are you sure you could handle it? It's a lot to manage on your own. But you're a good girl, Magda. There are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I promise you I do not. Such a modest girl. Your dad raised you right. I mean, Otz, of course. He's about as subtle as his father. God rest Otto's soul. I miss him. I wish I got to meet him. Properly, I mean. He made an impression, that's for certain. Oh, the girls around town knew better than to moon after him. Though that didn't stop some of us. He was Ava's, from the start. As Otz appears to be yours. But if nothing ever comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Kraft's a nice, hard-working boy. He's got a sharp mind. He can provide for a family. He's a little bit of a brat. I mean, I'm not sure we're a good match. Not every marriage starts off on solid footing, but if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. Maybe I'll never get married. Without a husband and children, who will care for you when you're old? The Lord made us from Adam's rib because he meant us to be a part of men. You would be lonely to never know that fullness of purpose. Gross. That's no life for someone like you. You're not the first person to tell me so. That is because your elders are wise, Magda. Trust in our love for you and in the Lord's purpose. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Oh, before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin is supposed to have stolen it from that baron who was killed years ago. Do you know what happened to it? Oh. I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble, but I still have it, hidden in a drawer. Martin left it behind when he ran off. Why'd you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get into any more trouble than he was already in. I never read it, though. I don't read well. I could take it off your hands. No one would ever know you kept it. I trust you to be true to your word, Magda. I'd like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of difficult times. A stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you are. Please, don't tell anyone I had this. Ah, Historia Tassai. It's in Latin, which I don't read well. I'll puzzle over it in the evening. Thank you, Brigitte. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigitte. Until later. Hi, definitely, Martin. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful... I almost said an F instead of an H, but he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townsfolk have whispered shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. And I've pulled my weight around here, tilled the soil, salted the meats, provided for Brigitte and Croft. I've done enough backbreaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamned rest? Why are you always getting into fights anyway? Sometimes an asshole just needs to get his teeth pounded in. Does beating the shit out of someone really solve a problem? Maybe. Don't want to solve problems, though. Don't have the patience anymore. Had enough. Just want what I'm owed. Right, I've lost enough time to this as it is. Time for you to go. Until later, Martin. Where do we want to go? Let's go to the Kreutzer house. Kreutz? It might be Kreutzer. No one knows. Hi, Oats. I'm going into your house. Hi, Christina. Hi, Magda. Hello, Christina. What are you doing today? Helping Mom? Ots is right. You're really pretty. Oh, thank you, Christina. You're really pretty too. Thank you. Don't tell. It's a secret. I definitely won't. You're funny, Magda. Hello, Ava. Magda, darling. Otz isn't here, I'm afraid. He's standing on the front porch instead. I wasn't looking for him. No? Are you sure? I think he wandered off toward the rat house. Something about the council, but if you ask me, I think he's looking for you. Doesn't he do any real work? Oh, yes. He's always working on town council business these days, and he's still working at mastering carpentry, too. I suggested a few years ago that he take up an apprenticeship, but he was determined to remain in Tassing. I think he's more comfortable here, even if that means he'll never be the craftsman Otto was. I help him how I can, but there's only so much I know how to do. Besides, I think he feels like he's taking care of me instead of the other way around. Funny how time does that. I think Dad misses Mom even after all these years. Do you ever miss Otto? Every day. I see him in the little thing Otz does. The way he smiles or how he laughs. I miss my husband, but I'm proud of Otz. He's growing into a capable young man. I'm excited to see him grow into a husband and father. He'll make a wonderful partner. If he ever grows up, that is. He still acts like a boy half the time. Oh, that's the way of men. The Lord gave them lofty spirits that need to exert themselves. Give it time, Magdalene, you'll see. All men are tempered by warage. Ah, ah, ah. Oh, I'm peeking the mic. I apologize if that was a bit too loud. That's what happens when I go Wario. If you say so. Anyway, I'm sure you have things to do. I'll let you get back to them. Always good to see you, Magda. You too, Ava. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Till. Do you have a moment? Of course. What do you need? Ott says you've been obsessed with your painting. Ott is just jealous that I spend more time with the mural than I do with him. He is fond of you. You can't blame the boy. Anyway, what was it you wanted to know? I'm looking for the early history of Tassing for the first part of the mural. Mother Illuminata said your grandfather read about the history of the town. Ah, fertile fields, that is. Seemed like old pot shards and Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. All of Granddad's reading came from the Abbey's library, though, and you know what happened there. Poof, up in smoke. So, you don't have any of his old books? Only a few. Granddad tried to buy some when the Abbey fell in hard times, but they were too expensive. But I can show you something better than books. Anything would help. Right, so we don't have any books on the old pagans, but we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots and animals' bricks from what looks to be an old forge. Mountains of salt. Even found a little bear, carved from amber. Where did you find all this stuff? It's not just me. Carl finds things. Fabian, too. Any farmer would tell you the same. Spoon hat. It's all out there in the fields, under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping these things? Nowhere. We just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and root clumps. Sure, it's interesting, but we can't do much of anything with it except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't follow. Where do you think they all went? I expect a lot of them were killed by the Romans. Or each other. We find bones, too. Like human sacrifice? No. Feels more like skirmishes or regular burials. They're arranged all nice, or else in big clumps. All mixed up with spearheads and axes and shields. Not so different from today, really. Earlier you mentioned something about salt. Did the pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it was a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why tassing was so important to the Romans in the first place. Salt. I'd always wondered why they settled in such a small alpine town. Do you think there's anything left of the pagans down there? I don't know, but anything they left would have to be better preserved than what we dig out of the fields. Magdalene, tell me you aren't thinking of going down there. No, what if there's stuff that could help me with the mural? Magdalene, that mine is hundreds of years old. You could break your neck just getting in there. Orpheus made it back from the underworld, didn't he? I'll be fine. Maybe so, but he mocked the gods and failed in his quest, Magdalene. Don't take him as an example. Imagine how your dad would feel if you got hurt. Oh, I made fun of Utz, but my haggle background. Then help me get down safely, and then he won't have to worry. You're bullheaded, just like your mother. And your father. Probably couldn't keep you out of there if I tried. Please, Till. All right. Don't know how to get down there myself, but I know those twins have gotten in a time or two. No doubt they have a trick. And Baltus might not be the most reliable man, but I don't doubt he could rig something up for you too. Thank you, Till. Don't mention it. I'm serious, don't. This pagan history wasn't really what I expected. The past never is. You think all this pagan stuff will make it in the mural? I can bring some of the things the boys and I have found over to the Wrath House tomorrow, if that'd help at all. That'd be great. Glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. I thought no one cared about the pagans but me and Granddad. I should warn you, if you do head into the forest, keep an eye out for the Lord's men. They're strict, worse now than they used to be. I'll be careful. Until tomorrow. Until then. Hello, Magdalene. Good morning, Magdalene. Hello. You can call me Magdalene, Andreas. Magdalene. Magda works too. Magda. There you go. What are you up to today? Drawing. Anything interesting? No. Secrets. I'm good at keeping secrets. I'm drawing. Ooh. I'm pretty sure that's not a B. Seuss? There's something telling me that's an S sound, but I'm not sure. I'm drawing that the reader understand. Oh, I see. I'll leave you to it then. Magdalene. God bless you, Magdalene. Magdalene. Magdalene, dear. Good day, Magdalene. Hi. How is your father? He's doing better, I think. We're lucky to have Dr. Stoles in Tassing. He's a hard worker. May God bless Klaus with a speedy recovery. May he be gracious. How are you two? I am delighted to enjoy another beautiful autumn day. I'm just glad to be sitting down for a moment. I'm so tired, wrung dry. Andreas and Ulrich can wear down even the most vigorous person. Not even young Oates could keep up with those two. The blessing and the curse of small children. Mom! Ulrika? Is she alright? Oh yes, she wanted to run off and hide so I could find her. After I've caught my breath for a moment. I don't think she appreciates me taking this long. You're not playing along, Andreas, hiding like your sister? No. This young man won't lose sight of his mom. Say, Magdalene, could you perhaps go find Ulrika in my stead? Of course, I'd be delighted. Wonderful. She's somewhere in town, although I'm not sure where by now. She ran up the street toward the bakery. I imagine you can find her by the giggling. I'll be off then. Hi, Endris. Hello, Magdalene. How is Klaus? Ressie and I are very worried. Alive, and that's what matters. Did you discover who attacked him? No. Whoever it was, they left no sign. A terrible crime. Terrible. Sorry, needed a second. May God look after you both. We've had enough tragedy in this town. Fortunately, Dr. Stoles appears to have found his purpose. I remember him being so sad when I was a girl. You're still a girl. He was once the picture of arrogance, masked a sadness, I think. Like to talk about how he was destined for better places than this backwater alpine town. And how he was meant for the courts of kings. No longer. He grew up. What changed? The revolts, no doubt, changed everyone. But he's the one who saw the bodies. He's not a heartless man, Magdalene. He deserves our compassion. But I shouldn't gossip. If there's anything Ressie and I can do for you, let us know. I will. Thank you for your kindness, Endris. It's nothing. I owe your father more than I can say. Take care, Magdalene. Hello, Mistress Druckerin. How is Klaus? Endris and I have been terribly worried. Dad's spirits are high, but he still gets headaches and spells of dizziness. If there's anything we can do to help you with... If there's anything we can help you with, let us know. Endris is always ready to provide. He and Klaus have been friends for a long time. My thanks to you both. We're certainly grateful. It's the least we can do. My sweetie rather admires Klaus. If you don't mind, you weren't born in Tassing, am I right? No. I'm originally from Innsbruck. How did you arrive here? The twists of Providence are sudden and unpredictable. I was but a young girl selling all manner of wares on the market, pots and the like. One day, this man appears to the stall, all jitters and nerves, stammering over his words, but charming in a way. We spoke at length. I was intrigued and soon enamored, as if a candle had been lit. Endris is a man of talent and means, after all, blessed with a kind soul. How did it feel to leave home for someone, somewhere far away, uprooting yourself from the life you had? Frightening, to be sure, leaving Innsbruck, my friends and family behind. But it was exciting as well, going off to find new opportunities and build a new life. There wasn't much I had to look forward to in Innsbruck. Few prospects for a poor girl. I couldn't see myself sitting at the market continuing to sell odds and ends. Sometimes there are risks we just have to take. That's very inspiring, Resi. I'm glad you found happiness here. We all struggle in this world, but the moments of joy outweigh the bad. It's how God has set the world, His benevolence guiding us through it all. I feel I've been blessed, and it's not been all bad for Endris either. I assist him with the bookkeeping side of the smithy and other things. Thank you for telling me about your past. It's nothing, Magdalene. I hope it has provided you with some encouragement. Don't forget, you are important as well, and deserve to live your life. Alright, I have to assist Endris with a few things. Be well, Magdalene. Until later, Therese. I wonder where she is. I can smell the anise on the breeze. It reminds me of when I was little. Dad always bought anise cakes from Gret to help soothe my stomach when I was ill. Aha! There you are. The hat! The hat! You found me. Bet you can't find me again, Mag. Round 2. Fight. Hey, Magdalene. Good morning, Magdalene. Brisk weather today, isn't it? And still Kraft is out there working with Father Thomas to repair the church. I worry about that boy sometimes. He works the stone, but I'm not always sure he has his mind set on it. Masonry is a good trade. Everyone needs a stonemason now and then to repair things. That they do. Lucky always harped on about how being honest and trustworthy is the most valuable currency. How in this life hard work and reputation matter the most. Kraft has taken that to heart, I think. He does a lot of good for the town. I've offered to find an apprenticeship for him, but he won't make his damn mind up. He deserves a chance at the life he wants. He lives in his father's shadow for too long. He's a good man, Agnes. You should be proud. Thank you, Magdalene. I've done my best for my household, despite what's happened these past few decades. Oh, well, you didn't come here to hear me ramble on about my family. What can I do for you? I thought you might have some additional remedies for my father. Are Werner's not enough? I understand Klaus's condition is dire, but I thought Werner would be able to provide something. I know I won't save him, but I want to try everything I can. Every little bit helps, I understand. Let me see what I can whip up. I can't promise anything, but God willing, I pray it provides some small help. Thank you, Agnes. Of course, Magdalene. take care. I'm gonna sleep in this bed. Because I can't. Wait, no, I can't. So much for being able to make choices in video games. Magdalene, darling. Good morning, Gret. It smells heavenly in here. I've just finished rolling out some raisin bread. I thought that Andreas and Ulrika could use a treat today. Oh, what a sweet idea. I had some spare time today, and I like to stay busy. The soul of the diligent shall be made rich after all. Besides, I like to drop in on Anna and see my grandchildren. I'm more blessed than I ever imagined I would be. Paul and Anna make such a lovely pair. Hey, I'm Paul. Ulrich wouldn't believe his eyes if he saw us now. I wish he could see his grandchildren. I did always think it was strange that your daughter married the son of the man who killed your husband. Is a heck of a thing. I'm sure he's rejoicing with the all saints in heaven. The Packers aren't in the playoffs. I'm very happy. Okay, I can put my phone away now. Thank you, Detroit Lions. Thank you, Detroit Lions. Yeah, I'm sure he's rejoicing with the All Saints in heaven, Gret. I do hope so. He was never much for emotional displays, but I still remember his joy when Anna was born. You know, I was angry when Anna first took a liking to young Paul. He was always a quiet boy, but I was afraid he'd turn out like his father. Well, I needn't have worried. Paul is a good man and a good father. He's built this town back up from what it was. And Elsa dotes on those children more than I do. She's certainly come a long way from the meek woman I met. Oh, 3 very good choices. No, I have to find Ulrika myself. I think not having to live with Leonard helps. Well, though I wouldn't phrase it as such, I agree with you. She's twice the woman she was with him. The Lord provides miracles to us all, even if they are birthed from tragedy. I've been chatting too long. My does need tending. Please excuse me, Magdalene. Of course, Gret. Until later. She must have run off to another area. Carl. Got you. Aw, you found me again. Wait here. I will find better spot. While I'm in the area, I believe... Yeah, Balthazar! Magdalene! Yes? The cinnamon just arrived for the beer. Always doing homebrew. Cinnamon? Doesn't that come from Ceylon? Ugh. Yes, at great cost. Well, never mind that. The copper pots you helped me pipe are part of the process. If they had been pewter... That would have been preferable. Because then you would have the pewter pots you helped me pipe are part of the process. And the plosives check would be perfect. Oh, I thought it was for something more serious. Magdalene. Making beer is quite serious. Yeah, he's doing homebrew. Hold on. This has been bugging me. Yeah. I'm cutting off the top of my head a bit. Let me make that taller. Much better. Much better. Ooh. Ooh. Significantly better. Anyway. It's for the Christmas celebration. Already? We're barely into November. The wheel of time stops for no man. But it's going to be wonderful. Cinnamon, coffee from Ethiopia, cacao from the New World. Jesus Christo. Acha danaru face tutu. Jesus Christ, he who has the money can do everything. Problem? Of course not. It's your money. Anyway, I'm quite excited about it. Clearly. As such, alchemy is not normally my strong suit. And for all of Nacio's complaints about the cost, the base rye we're using is free. Really? Yes. The farmers had so much rye this year, they just couldn't use it all. Gret made as much bread with it as she could, but she wound up having to throw a lot out. So why not make beer? I wish you the best luck with it. Thank you. Do you know Tassing's salt mine? I need to find a way in. Any chance you could help me? To get into the salt mine, yes, you must be on quite the adventure. Ideally, we could rig up a double pulley system and lower and raise you into the shaft. But that might take a while. Well, I would like to go in today, if possible. Of course, of course. Would a good length of rope suffice? You could brace against the wall of the mine shaft. Are you strong enough to support your own weight? Against the wall? I think so. Excellent. Thank you, Baltus. Of course, of course. Here you go. Do be careful, though. Make sure the ropes are secure. I will. Until later. Good luck, Magdalene. Ciao, Magdalene. Baltus's workshop. I wonder if we can do another lesson soon. Hello, Magdalene. Magdalenu. No child in here. All that glitters is stoles. Hi there, Werner. Hello, Magdalene. How are you? Well enough, considering the circumstances. I'm glad to hear it. You've been admirably level-headed given your challenges. For what it's worth, though Klaus and I haven't always seen eye to eye, I've always respected him. Then you shouldn't argue with him about the mural. Trust us to know what we're doing. You already know it's not that simple. The mural will tell the tale of Tassing for generations. Exactly. That's why it's important. That's why important for art to tell the truth. God knows the truth. Men only have interpretation. And you must be careful with yours. Dad knows that. I know that. We're both serious about our craft. You're just as stubborn as he is. Thank you? This must be part of the Lord's plan. I must trust that he put you into this position for a reason. All the same, Council does not want to regret their lenience. You all have so little faith in me, but I'll prove you wrong. Good. Go on then, I've patience to attend to. Until later. And at this part, we'll draw a cool dolphin with a jetpack. The Rathaus is the biggest building in Tassing. Baltus's clock took ages to build in place. Good day, Mistress Druckerian. That would have been the most obvious place to hide, is back with your parent. Or grandparent? Grandmother? I believe? Where did she go? I'm still just standing here. I'm Otz. Matilda. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Matilda. Hello, Wushlaw. How are you two? Very well. The Lord has blessed us more than we deserve. And how are you, Magdalene? I was worried with you keeping the house and the workshop all on your own. Let me bring by some soup for you and your father. She is the first one who has concretely offered, I think, this is what I will do for you. Not just, let me know if you need any help. And that's an admirable thing. If you know someone's going through some stuff, offer, hey, I can do this thing for you. Do not bring it to them and say, here, be grateful. But say, hey, let me, exactly what she's doing. Let me do this for you. And then if they don't want company, they can say, no, I don't want that. And if they do want it, then this is actually, I guess this is more of a preference thing. Let me buy some soup for you and your father, or do you want some soup I could bring by for you and your father, something like that. The problem with that is it sounds like if you need something, I guess I could do this. Instead of let me do this is I actually want to do this thing for you. I would say if you know someone who's going through some stuff, this is a way you offer some help. Is you say, let me do this for you. This very specific thing. That's my pro tip. That's my real life pro tip. Offer to do something tangible and make it clear that you want to do it. If they say no, do not push it. One of the first two. Dad would love that. I've hardly had a moment to cook a hot meal. Between your father, the shop, and the mural, I'm surprised you're not dead on your feet. He's very lucky to have such a devoted daughter. And before you worry about imposing, you're not. Taking care of our neighbors is how Tilda and I serve Tassing. Our vocation may have changed, but our gratitude to God and the town has not. It's hard to imagine you two ever lived in the Abbey. Sometimes those days feel like another lifetime. A harder time, to be sure. Hey, the poor Clares. That's an order of contemplative nuns founded by Saints Clare and Francis of Assisi. As the name suggests, the poor Clares are devoted to extreme poverty. They subsist purely on the donation of alms. Were the Benedictines anything like the poor Clares? We lived simple lives of devotion, but not that simple. I'm given to understand they don't make art in the convent now. Such a shame in that beautiful workshop. In any case, a nun's vows include dedication to a simple life with all the challenges that entails. But I struggled. With my vows, my discipline, I couldn't live as my sisters did. I broke my vows, as did Wojslav. We fell in love. We did. Well, I seduced her. Her. You certainly did not. Are you telling young Magda here that you seduced me, then? Wojslav, please. So, you left the Abbey? Well, we were found out, but our secret was kept. Still, the matter ate at my heart. That and being falsely accused of murdering the old Baron terrified you, and rightly so. We all must account for our sins, Magdalene. I was afraid I would account for mine sooner than I thought. Those were the hardest years of my life. I repented and prayed to God to absolve me. But the Lord always provides, even in the darkest days. The Abbey's destruction gave us a second chance. It must have been strange to leave that life after so long. Huh. Well, I will admit it's been strange not being able to enter the convent. I miss the sisters terribly some days, but truthfully, it's been a relief not to be constrained by my vows. The Lord forgives more readily than man, Magdalene. Never think that you must remain in a place that causes you to sin, even if others think it godly. I'm glad you two are finally able to live life together. You both deserve it. Only by the grace of God are we in this life together. May it be many more years before we part. God willing. Anyway, Magdalene, I'll send that soup over to you shortly. God bless you both. God bless you, Magda. God bless. Hi, Big York. I'll be back to talk to y'all. I'm looking for a small child. Hey, Hans. Hi, Simon. Hetty, Jutta. Hey, Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. How's the mural coming? I hear you browbeat the council into letting you do it yourself. Cow. They didn't have a chance against me once I'd set my mind to it. Ha, that's the spirit. It's good to see you standing strong against those stubborn bastards. God may have made man from dust, but I swear he left some of them with rocks for brains, too. Did you know Jorg was by to check on my hinges? I've had about enough of their silly projects. That Zimmerman boy seems to have a good head on his shoulders, though. Once you're settled down with him, you'll have a good life ahead of you. Oops, I'm not going to marry him. Are you so sure there are better prospects for you in this town? Don't tell me you'd prefer the Gertner boy. I don't plan on having anyone. Well, the poor Clares are right up the hill. That's your answer. Can't say I ever saw you as a spiritual type, though, Magdalene. Magdalene? Oh, there it is. There's Magdalene. I could join a guild instead. I don't need a husband for that. I wouldn't know anything about that. You want to talk spinning, you come to me. I have no use for the world beyond Tassing, but I wish you luck in it. Thanks, Hetty. I'll see you later. Until then. Where is Small Child? I must find Small Child. Small Child? Small Child? This was old Otilia's house. It's a shame that it's been left here to rot. Real cool that they just left a house to rot instead of letting her live in it. Really cool. Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. Is she hiding in the church? Just wander around town looking for a small child. You're not a small child. I figured that much out, that he's not a small child. Oh, that's who Andreas was drawing. Susha. I'm not sure about that pronunciation of that character. Good morning, Magdalene. How's the mural coming along? Well, I think I'm off to start the first part of the mural today. I'll paint the founding of Tassing and the Romans. Well, you won't want for any models. Tassing is littered with Roman ruins. It's almost a nuisance. What sort of mural are you creating, Magdalene? I believe Klaus is planning on a fresco. Well, I'll start with the intonacchio and then paint the fresco over it, so that I have a clear consistency. Ah, I see. Do you have enough plaster? The Rathouse wall is so large, I was worried it wouldn't stay wet for long. Since when did the town miller know so much about art? It's been an interest of mine since childhood, but my father disapproved. After my mother and I left Tassing, we stayed with her family a few months before we heard what happened. Your father's friend, Andreas, he encouraged me to draw. While we were away, I studied in my uncle's library. I've collected books about various art styles since we returned. I had no idea, Paul. Why didn't you want to paint the mural yourself? I'm not nearly as skilled as you or your father. I know I had my doubts about you taking on the project, Magdalene, but you're the most skilled artist in Tassing. After your father, of course. Well, anyway, I'm glad the mural is going well. Forgive my sudden questioning about it. I've been so busy preparing for the council's next meeting, I haven't had as much time with Anna as usual. She says I get a bit frantic when I'm overwhelmed. Is the council working on something new? We're considering yearly maintenance checks on every house in Tassing. The idea has had quite a bit more pushback than we'd anticipated. I can understand the utility of the proposition, but it might feel like a nuisance. Precisely. That's the issue we've run into. This would help protect those in Tassing who don't have the skill to fix things themselves. Widows like Agnes or Gret. But without instituting it for the whole town, we can't enforce the proposition. In any case, the matter is far from resolved. I imagine spring will come before anything is actually done. I'd better get back to work. Thank you for letting me interrupt your day, Magdalene. God bless you. Until later, Paul. He seems a decent sort. Small child. A small child inside house? Don't see small child. go to hide inside my house? That'd be quite a thing. That'd be quite a thing if she had. Hello, I'm still Utz. Have I even talked to him yet? Magda. Hi, Utz. Hey, Mags. Got your way with the mural, huh? I didn't expect you to convince the council like that. I can be pretty stubborn when I want to, Utz. Clearly. I'm impressed. The rest of the council has been arguing over the matter for so long, even I couldn't get a word in. Then you come in and shut them up in a few minutes. We could use more women like you in the town. Okay, that bumped up my opinion of him a little bit, but there are plenty of opinionated women in the town. Want to let us join the council? Well, you'd have to take that up with the Lord. Besides, I don't think any of them are as hard-headed as you. Yikes. You're the exception, Magdalene. You always are. Clearly you've forgotten about Agnes. She doesn't suffer fools gladly. That's not what I meant. She's not... never mind. Forget about it. Anyway, standing up to the council like that was great. I know I'm on the council, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I have any influence. Utz actually seems insecure about his place on the council. He's always poking fun at me too. Maybe I should remind him he's not that important after all. That'll be fine. I'm only poking back, right? Well, you are the youngest member of the council. The others have much more life experience. Yes, but how am I supposed to gain experience if I'm not involved in making decisions? Being the youngest one on the council has been harder than I thought. I know Baltas and Werner don't think I'm capable, and even Paul has warned me about being too rash. My dad died trying to make a difference in this town. All I'm trying to do is carry on his legacy, but it seems like the others won't make room for any change. You sound like my dad. He always said that the council was scared of doing anything important. Your dad is right. They're all so old and cowardly. I guess they just want to live in peace, but I want something more. I want to make a difference, like my dad did. Well, better get back to it. See you later, Mags. Stop calling me that. Stop calling me that. We've been over this. If you find Ulrika, please send her back here, will you, dear? I'm looking. I'm looking for... Did I check the bakery? After that last one? I think I did. Small child. Bless you, Magdalene. Thanks. Already looked at here. Where's the small child? Is she out in the woods? Oh, I didn't go far enough to the right. You can't hide from me, little bean. You're too good, Mag. I will go find Mom now. I'm still just standing on the porch. I'm so busy. Ah, there you are. Had enough of hiding, Ulrika? Yes. Magda found me so quick. Sure. She's a good finder. No one can escape me, little one. I'll hide better next time. I'm hungry now. We'll have to get you something to eat then, little dove. Pretzel? Oh, is that what a proper child eats? Thank you for your time, Magdalene. Always glad to play with the children, but I really have to go now. I can't wait to see what you'll end up painting. You will do us proud, I am sure of that. I hope to. Until later. Yeah, I got rope. I got some rope that I can use. It'll mean that it's a risk-free way to climb down into a mine. And something I've learned from Minecraft is always dig down. Oh, hello, Magdalene. Nico, what are you doing out here? Biding my time, contemplating life in the forest at this cold time of year. I like the calm and the chill. It makes me feel lively. I'm not looking forward to returning to the inn either. Why's that? You don't know? Everyone in town's been whispering about us for years. Lately, Hannah and I fight more days than not. So I walk in the woods to clear my head. What happened between you two? We lied to each other, fostered resentment, grew apart. It's a tale as old as matrimony. Truth be told, I'm not expecting much from it. Maybe you young folk are smarter than we were at your age. We were in love once, I think. It's been so long I hardly remember. Well, I was in love. I would have suffered any slight for her. Even that fucking Miller. At least Leonard died in the revolt. But that didn't stop Hannah from disgracing our marriage. I swallowed my pride and let it go on because I thought it would make her happy. But I shouldn't talk to you about this. You've caught me in a weak moment, Magdalene. Maybe it's not appropriate, but I'm listening anyway. Kind of you. Perhaps if I were a better man, Hannah would still love me. We're too old to change now. She's too stubborn, I'm too weak. It's pointless. You and Hannah managed to raise a kind man in Killian despite all that. Killian is a good boy. A diligent son. He deserved a better father. I failed him too. Now you're just feeling sorry for yourself. You would be sorry too if you were me. I'm sorry I burdened you with this. Please, don't tell your father. Until later, Nico. Until then. Hey, Magdalene. Hello, Apollo. What are you doing? Looking for frogs. Artemis says she saw one the other day, and we're trying to collect a bunch. Frogs don't come out this time of year. How do you know? Artemis says she saw one. I read it in a tale. Frogs come out with rain. We get rain in spring. Huh. Maybe that's why I only have one. What do you need the frogs for? Like I'll tell you, you'll snitch. If you don't tell me, maybe I will snitch. Your mother won't be happy to hear about whatever you're up to. Artemis always says Mom doesn't care. Mom yells, but that's about it. Sorry, Magdalene. I can't risk this one. Try asking Artemis. Frog. Frog. Oh, hey, Magdalene. Do you need something? I'm a little busy right now. I need you to show me how you and Apollo get into the old salt mine. The mine? Damn, Magda, why do you need to get down there? I want to see what our forefathers and the Romans left behind. It's for the mural. The mural? You want to use our secret hideout for your mural? Your secret hideout? But everyone knows you two hide down there. Yeah, but they don't know how to climb down there, do they? It's secret enough. So why should I show you how to get in? Because we're friends? You told my mother when I cut my hair so I didn't have to wear braids 5 years ago. I still hold that grudge. Look, I'll show you how to get into the mine on one condition. You help Apollo and me with our next prank. No telling, no snitching, no questions asked. Fine. Tell me what you're up to. Father Thomas has been droning on and on about the plagues of Egypt, right? Apollo and I are collecting frogs to hide in the tabernacle. When Father Thomas opens it on Sunday, frogs will go everywhere. Can't wait to see Father Thomas's face if you can get away with it. He'll never expect to summon frogs in his sermon on the Egyptian plagues. It's the perfect plan. So, what do you want me to do? We stole the tabernacle key, but we need to put it back before he notices. I think there was a tale there was a Till Eulenspiegel story like this. Huh? He stole a silver box from a priest during confession, then confessed to the priest that he stole a silver box. Yeah? He told the priest he wanted to give him a box that he stole. The priest said he couldn't accept stolen goods. So he stole a silver box and was absolved by the man he stole it from. Ha! So you're going to steal the silver box from Father Thomas? No. Wait, what do you want me to do exactly? I need you to replace the key on the altar in the church. Apollo and I would attract too much attention. But you're the town's goody-goody. Not that bad, am I? Well, not entirely. It's not your fault Oates moons over you. The council lets you go away with anything. Anyway, will you do it? I'll get you into the mine if you do. I need a way to get into the mine, but this seems risky. The twins are always causing trouble, but this break seems harmless. Father Thomas will be missing his key, too. Going along with this can't cause that much trouble, can it? Alright, give me the key. Perfect. Good luck, Magdalene. Let me know when it's done. Let me know when it's done. When again? Is there a cat along the path? No. No. Tragic. I love watching the violets bloom every year. They match the purple of the mountains. Walk into the church. Alright, it looks like the church is empty. I can leave the key on the pulpit where Father Thomas is sure to find it. There. Better get out of here before Father Thomas comes back. I'll let Artemis know I returned the key too. Go around this way. Is there a way around this way? No. Oh, I can go around the millway. It's definitely going to matter. Definitely going to matter. Snow is creeping down the mountains. Winter will be here soon. Hey, Mags. How's your errand going? I did it. I left the key where Father Thomas would find it. Brilliant. Alright, as promised, Apollo and I will show you how to get into the mine. Come on, follow me. Are you sure you want to do this, Magdalene? There's some creepy things down there. Who knows how many people have died in those mines? Right, it's probably haunted. You should back out now. While you still can. You two don't scare me. I'm going down there. Alright, but you can't blame us if a ghost gets you. You were warned. Anyway, it's not that bad, as long as you know where to put your feet. We do it all the time. Come on, let's get on with it. I don't want to get in trouble again. Fine, fine. Start with your feet on the inner ledge, Magdalene, and then look for the ledges that look like shells. Alright, here goes. Don't forget to move your hands down before your feet, so you don't slip. Hike your skirt a little so you don't get it caught, too. It's easier that way. Wait, the missing rung. Oh, right. There's a missing rung near the bottom. Watch your step or you'll fall. Uh-huh, like this idiot. Why'd you have to say that? Why do you always have to embarrass me? Alright, I got it. Thanks. Phew. I did it. I'm at the bottom. Good job, Magdalene. Good luck doing whatever you're doing down there. Hope you don't die, Magdalene. Climbing out might be trickier. Oh well, let's take a look around. There are a lot of different coins down here. How odd. It's not like this is a saint's well. Oh, a tablet. There's some still writing on it. Oh, it's a poem. I think it's a love note. Rising passion. Oh, this looks like a larger version of some of Baltus's contraptions. This winch must have been attached to some sort of hauling and pulley system. Fascinating. Now that I'm down here, I should see what I can find from the Roman era and before. Oh, bones. They're far too big to be human. That's what must have scared Apollo so much. Oh, a piece of pottery. It's beautiful. Oh, these must be the same kind of figurines Till and the other farmers find in the fields. To think that there are so many remnants of our ancestors scattered in fields and caves like this. Yet another pottery piece. Another shard. Here's another piece. Another piece. I wonder if they're all from the same pot. There's a Latin inscription here. Tasia aquam mihi det aut Pluto mi servet hic sal est mi morti sicat. The only things I feel confident about, let me see if I can get mouse to show up. Tassing, salt. That's about the limits of my Latin, so. Can't go down here. Okay. Oh, this looks like a Roman map of Tassing. I wonder what's changed. Let's see if I can map everything out. There's the aqueduct and the spring. The abbey was an old fort up on the hill. And there's the rest of the town. Wait, what's this building? I don't recognize it. Mithraeum. I don't know that word. I can't quite tell what it's meant to be, meant to label on the map. Maybe it's some sort of temple? Well, whatever it is, it's not in Tassing now. It's so odd. It's probably not important. Another inscription. It's not very formal. A worker must have carved it. There's that word again. Mithraeum. It must have been important to the Romans. Pottery shard. Another piece. This almost looks like an altar. But what would an altar be doing in a salt mine? It's even carved out of the salt. I think it's a statue of Mithras. He's usually depicted with a dagger and torch. It's less detailed than I expected. Mags, if you know Mithras, you should be able to guess Mithraeum. You're a smart young lady. You should be able to put 2 and 2 together like that. Another shard. More Latin writing. Nisi Mithraeum penetramus nostrum proprium alterum deus statumus. Definitely got it all correctly pronounced. Pottery shard. Scattered everywhere, another pottery shard. I have a lot of these pottery pieces. I should find out if they're all from the same pot. Not there. bad fit, except that the pattern doesn't match. That looks better, which means it's not that. Nope. Again, the pattern doesn't match. What about here? Ooh. Oh, that's a spicy fit. Definitely not. Doesn't fill the space enough. Let's try that. Why not try that? Not that. Well, you got a face, but you're not lining up just there. You're not lining up there. Maybe. Yeah, that's just a missing chip. How's that? Nope. Let's try it there. I like that. I like that. Like that. Yes. Flip this. Good. I think this has to be here. Oop. That's nothing. That's nothing. Oop. Hold on. Got the elite gamer aim right now. So it looks like this piece. Yeah. This piece. So that piece isn't there. Something else is wrong somewhere. Like that. What is not fitting? That's not fitting. Yeah. Got it. The figures on this pot lid look like they're telling a story. These paintings must depict an early myth, even before the Romans. Let's see. This must be Perkta, and those must be forest spirits. Part of the wild hunt? Oh god. The next part looks like a human sacrifice. Someone, maybe a chieftain, is sacrificing a man to Perkta. The bottom half of the lid continues the story. They look like spirits. They must be coming in to feast on the sacrifice. That must be how our ancestors tried to keep Tassing safe. They offered sacrifices to Perkta. To think that our ancestors made this and I'm holding it now. Maybe this is what I could paint in the mural. I'll have to think more about it before I decide for certain. Alright, I'd better keep going before I run out of oil in my lamp. Oh, a cave-in. The wood here looks newer than the first part of the mine. Was this collapse recent? With all the... I won't be able to go any further with all the rubble. I suppose this is as far as I can go. Still, the murals on the walls showed me what Tassing was like when the Romans were here. I wonder if I could find out where the Mithraeum was, or what it was. And putting the pottery shard back together showed me one of the earliest stories of Tassing. I think I've seen everything I can down here, and my oil is running out. Time to climb back out. Ah! Wait, who's that? Hello? Is someone there? I'd better get out of the shaft before another rock comes crashing down. Who was that? Even Apollo and Artemis would have helped me out of here. Well, now that I have more information, I can make some decisions on the first section of the mural. Seven hours later. You. I'm talking to you. Answer me. Don't need to be so rude. I'm Hollebrand, the Lord's gamekeeper. I'll give you courtesy when you merit courtesy. Why are you grazing pigs in the woods? I'm the printer's daughter, Magdalene Druckerin. I didn't ask for your name, I asked why you were grazing pigs here. Answer me. Was that you watching me a few minutes ago? That rock almost hit me. Watching you? No. Rock? I don't know what you're talking about. Now answer me. Do I look like I raise pigs? You look like a little girl who's going to be in a lot of trouble if she doesn't answer my question. That's not my pig. I've been walking around this forest for hours. Other than the charcoal burner and the tinker, you're the only person I've seen. If the pig doesn't belong to you, what are you doing here? I'm with child and I just had a craving for acorns. It's almost funny how many women have tried giving me the same excuse. Alright, let me ask a different question. Whose pig is this? Could belong to anyone. Ah, a mysterious lost pig. Who apparently belongs to no one. If I find any more pigs in these woods, I'll kill them on the spot. And those who brought them here. Do you understand? Fine. Remind your neighbors what happens when you break the Lord's laws. I knew the Lord's men patrolled these woods, but I'd never seen one before. I didn't realize they were so strict. I suppose I should consider myself lucky. Anyway, time to get out of these woods and back to work at the Wrath House. Hey, Magdalene. Just a normal gunshot, I heard. I'm not worried about it. Hello, Magdalene. Just a normal gunshot, I heard. Not worried about it. Where am I headed? I can go charcoal burner. I can go Gertner's. Hey, Smokey. Good day, Mistress Druckerin. I've told you, Smokey. Call me Magdalene. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you to my corner of the woods? More gossip? Only ancient gossip. I was wondering if you knew anything about the old pagan and Roman mines. Mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the townsfolk trek out there as much anymore. Last I saw were those two twins making trouble. They know a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? The mural in the Wrath House needs a section about the earliest days of Tassing. The mines are the oldest part of Tassing, and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting down into the mines, but I do know a fair few stories about them, and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories my father used to tell me when he was the burner of Tassing. The one about Mars and Tassia, the nymph, was always my favorite, though I blame that on my youth. Tassia? Like Tassing? Mm-hmm. Folk named the town after a pagan god, a Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. I've read plenty of Roman myths. I'm sure none of it will surprise me. Maybe not, but I won't have your father hounding me for coarseness. Folk in this town don't like me anyhow. But I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. Everyone excludes me from the fun. You'll have your fun in time, Magdalene. Just you wait and see. All right. So what's the story? Well, legend says that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. He just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off, and the god was angry at the loss of his quarry. So he tramped through the woods to see why a woman was in the forest and not in the local town. But I go into the forest all the time. Yes, but those were the old woods, Magdalene. The wilds where spirits and ghosts prowled. What do you mean, prowled? Prowled? You know, like spirits and other evil things do. I can't just say they walked through the woods like you or me. They prowled. All right. Keep going. So, Mars found a nymph, Tassia, bathing in a spring with a fat, ugly satyr goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well, Tassia bathed the god. Ah, I see. I did warn you, Magdalene. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground, and it blossomed with flowers and crops. They say that's why this valley is so fertile. Huh. Mars got around, didn't he? Was there any nymph he didn't have his way with? He was the god of virility, wasn't he? You could see why I liked that tale in my youth. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. You can never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind, too. The town is more Roman than Bavarian, really. Hey, the Holy Roman Empire, it's the largest and most powerful European state in its time. The Holy Roman Empire was made up of many peoples and suffered from much internal strife during the Reformation, despite Emperor Maximilian's firm hand over the land. There's an owl again. And we are a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Haha, that we are, and not for a lack of trying. Tassing is actually much smaller now than it was in the Romans' day. At least that's what I make of it. The ruins go deep into the forest, And all the way to the old mine, there was something else. Half of Tassing was built by the Romans or something. Take a walk around town and you'll start to notice things. We use their stone to build. The old temple by Satya's shrine has grown over, but the aqueduct runs for miles. Even the abbey used to be an old Roman fort. You can see some of the Roman paved stones on the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, but this town is. Tassing is built upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. That's the way of things. Most people don't notice the old stones. Too busy in town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Well, thanks. I should get going. Just keep an eye for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, eh? You're still not going to spook me, Smokey. Haha, worth the try, though. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. I should get back to the Wrath House and get to work. Hello, is there something I can do for you? Knives need sharpening? I'm Magdalene Druckerin. Are you a friend of Smokey's? I'd like to think so. I'm Vashlav. I'm a tinker. Travel around and help people out with sharpening knives, little things like that. Druckerin, are you a printer's daughter? My father and I are both printers. Do you sample the wares much? Yes, I read books. Vashlav, don't. You're going to get in trouble again. What's he talking about? Nothing. Ignore him. Nothing? This one can't help but talk to people about all the strange things he believes. He reads all sorts of books, talks to odd folks, gets ideas brewing in his head. Now that doesn't bother old Smokey none. Bothers some other people a whole lot. Sounds like their problem, not his. Exactly. Sounds like there's nothing to worry about. Fine, you get run out of here again. Don't blame me. Again. So, books? Strange ideas? Yes. The host, the Eucharist, the bread and wine, body and blood of Christ. The Eucharist, that's the consecrated elements of communion, also called the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion. In Catholicism, the Eucharist refers to the bread and wine after they have been transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ. Holy Communion? What about it? More and more people are writing about rejecting transubstantiation. The idea that the bread and wine of the Eucharist literally becomes the body and blood of Christ. Here we go. Yes? Well, there are two ways to look at it. The first is on the grounds that Wycliffe and Huss rejected it. Using our eyes, our senses, there is nothing perceptible that changes in the characteristic of the bread and the wine. That doesn't mean it hasn't actually changed, though. Excuse me. But that brings me to the second part. Even if the bread and wine turned into Christ's body and blood, why is that necessary for spiritual communion? We are bound by flesh attempting to reunite with the light of God through the Eucharist. The act, the observance, unites our will with that of Christ. I just noticed, I didn't notice this on my first playthrough, his words for God are written in blue, which is different. I don't know historically if there's a significance to that, but that is definitely a difference from, I think, everyone else in the game who use red, which is what you would typically see in a religious text, is some religious texts, I should say, that the words of God are read. I'm not sure how general that is, but certainly in some cases that comes through. God is present in us through remembrance, not the physical act. So what does that matter? Are you saying we shouldn't take communion? No, there's nothing wrong with taking communion as a rite or act. But if you accept what I'm saying, there are other things I'd like to discuss. I'm not listening to any of this. Are you ready to hear why it's important to disbelieve in transubstantiation? Sure, why not? I'll admit I'd hoped for some more enthusiasm regarding the fate of our souls, but alright. This all starts with Lucifer creating the world. Jesus Christ. We'll get to him. God was the Word, and the Word was truth, and the truth is light. The light is God's will. God's light contained aspects, what we consider angels, facets of his infinite intellect. One of these aspects separated itself from his intellect and manifested into the darkness as the corrupt will, Lucifer. Within that darkness, Lucifer cast his false light, a corrupted imitation of the divine intellect, to create the world. All material in the world is inherently a corrupted manifestation of that false light. We still have a connection to God through our intellect, but it is flawed by existing in our physical bodies. So Genesis is wrong? There are many stories of creation, many versions, even of Genesis. Why is it you believe yours is the correct one? You believe the one your church has given you. Maybe if you were given another, you would have believed that instead. Was Jesus flawed by being a man even though he was born of a virgin? He was not born of a virgin. I'm not hearing any of this, and it would not matter if he were. Lucifer was a rebellious splinter of God's will. The Christ appeared when God willed his divine intellect into Jesus. But you said that physical bodies were all corrupt. Yes, but while we are the heirs of Lucifer's rebellious intellect, Christ received wisdom from the light of God himself. He did truly die and was truly resurrected in body. But his reappearance was only important for him to convey the message of salvation to the people. In truth, resurrection is always happening, since if we die without grace, our souls are condemned to be reborn. This physical world is the only hell we know, living again and again in the only torment. I think that's a sad way to look at life. Maybe, but it is how I see it. In 5 years, I may see it another way. Anyway, thank you for indulging me, Magdalene. It was illuminating, until later. Until then. Oh, let's stop by the Gertners. Let's stop by the Gertners. I think that after we, finish this little bit, we're probably going to call it, because I don't want to get started on the next section after this and have to stop not too long after that. Well, let's talk to the Gertners. Hey there, ill Peter. Hello, Peter. Can I talk to you for a moment? Eh? What's that? I was wondering if you could tell me some of the stories about Tassing. Oh, the old tales, Heh. It's been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. But there's still a few of the old tales knocking about in this skull. Are there any myths from even before the Romans came to Tassing? Of course there are. The Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There are spirits older than the saints that live in these woods, older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before St. Moritz ever set a blessed foot in town. I thought the spirits only caused trouble, spoiling milk, making livestock sick, that sort of thing. Some do, yes, but who do you think beats the spirits off? Us? What can farmers do against spirits, eh? It's Perchta and her wild hunt that scares them evil ones away. They protected Tassing ever since its founding day. Long before those Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Rhaetus. Now, folk weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward who neglected the old gods. He was too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the gods favored other tribes, and Rhaetus' people had no land to call to their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting and gathering what they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Rhaetus went hunting. I've probably pronounced Rhaetus different ways every time. I think I'm settling on Rhaetus. And found a wounded wolf tangled in a trap. But instead of killing the beast, as most men would, he helped the beast and loosed it from its bonds. Bounds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Of course not. Wolves are wolves, girl. Spirits don't need the skins of animals for their power. Still, you've got the sense of the thing. The old gods are keen to repay favors done, and Perchta is the goddess of the wild hunt. The wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolves lead the hunts for the forest. Back in my day, folk knew it was bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Cough, cough. Perchta saw Rhaetus' action and took favor on him, and told the wolf to lead the chief to her sacred spring. Rhaetus led his people to the spring, and claimed it for his homeland, and we've been in this valley ever since. Then those goddamned Romans came and destroyed everything, but you see? There were other gods protecting this place before St. Moritz. It's why a few of us still honor Perchta. She protects us against witches and fiends. Smokey told me about a similar story with a wolf and a nymph, except his was about the Roman gods. The Romans tried to wipe out all of the old ways, made everything about themselves. You think those wine-addled fools could stand to let us have our own custom? They may have built this town, but they didn't write its stories. Cough. God sent Perchta to protect these woods from those sun-brained bastards. Even if I'm the only one who can see her through the old customs. What about the Romans? Do you know any Roman legends of Tassing? Roman legends? Puh. I don't bother with stories from outsiders, or tales of gods that aren't our own. The Romans did nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We spent generation after generation building Tassing back up from those days. And still, our traditions keep dying, with no one to carry them on. Only Ursula's given a damn about them these days. That's why I need to know, Peter. These stories need to be on the mural. The mural, Fine, but I don't know any of the old Roman shit. All right. I have a lot to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. Little Ursula used to sit by me years ago and listen to everything about the old customs. Too busy for that now, of course. But you might talk to her. She might remember more than I do now. Used to listen to the widow, too. Old Ottilia knew more about the old ways than any of us. I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to your rest then. God bless you, Peter. who might have slept up here at some point. Hello, Magdalene, dear. How are you? How's Klaus? It's hard to know for certain. One day he seems well, and the next I can hardly understand his words. Oh, Magdalene, I'll keep praying for you both. The both of you deserve the best. Life's been hard enough for you already. Please, let me know if you need any help around the house. I'd be happy to help. Oh, thank you, Clara. That's very kind of you. I've been so busy in the Wrath House, I've let the house go a bit. Not to worry, I'll come by and help. Besides, then we can chat, and chatter makes chores pass quickly. With all my children up and grown, and no husband to care for anymore, I've got to make myself useful somehow. Big York is still in the house, though, isn't he? Oh, yes, but he's a grown man with children of his own. He and Veronica are capable of caring for their own household now. Ava is taking care of Otz, and Ursula and Fabian have their own life together. They don't need me anymore. You sound sad. Well, I suppose I am. I thank God that my children are all grown and prospering. But I do feel there's been something missing in my life. After so many years of tending to them and maintaining a home, I don't know what to do. You could always find something new to do. Keep busy by helping Gret in the bakery or something. York has been telling me to rest more, but you're right. I'd rather keep busy as long as there's life left in these old bones. Well, that's settled. I'll come over to help around the house soon, all right? I'll see you then, Clara. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. How is the mural going? I hope my husband hasn't been bothering about it too much. Has he said anything to you about it? Mainly he's relieved that they don't need to make a decision about the matter anymore. He runs the farm just fine, but being on the council has made him think he has a say in everything going on in Tassing. Town business is all he talks about these days. Those men are bad influences on each other, if you ask me. Now they're chattering on about a yearly check of the hinges on every door in town. Hinges? Who gives a damn if the hinges on our front door creak? To be fair, if your hinges creak, the door's integrity is at stake. Yes, well, I don't need to check every door in my house every year like it's a feast day. If there's a creaky hinge, I'll hear it. Anyway, I think it's good of you to be working on the mural. I wish Artemis and Apollo would take interest in something like that. Speaking of, have you seen them around anywhere? I asked them to look after the chickens, but they've disappeared. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're catching frogs to stuff into the church tabernacle. They're what? Oh, God. I'll have to talk to Father Thomas about this. He already thinks they're only so much trouble because Jorg and I named them after Greek gods. He says those names have power, but I still like them. Besides, Apollo and Artemis were gods of virtues. If anything, they should be more well-behaved. Artemis was the goddess of nature and Apollo was the god of music. Maybe the twins have hidden talents? Are you suggesting I appeal to the Greek gods like patron saints? Why not? Father Thomas thinks names are so powerful. Maybe this will help. How inspired. Maybe I will. That will get them in line for a while. Anyway, I'd better go find those rascals. Good luck on the mural, Magdalene. Thanks, Veronica. Until later. The snitch. Aw, I want to see the entry on it. Couldn't find it. Hi, Big York. Oh, Magdalene, how are the hinges on your doors? Fine, I guess? Maybe Andrew should take a look at them. I would have asked your father, but well. Anyway, you wouldn't believe how many people in this town leave their hinges to rust. I didn't realize you had such an interest in hinges? Oh, it's not my interest in particular. Paul would like to institute a yearly check on all homes in Tassing. What do you think of the idea, Jorg? Well, it's not a bad thing, but I don't see why we need to make it official. Everyone in Tassing helps each other. As I see it, if someone notices a house in disrepair, we all pitch in to fix it. To do anything else would be unchristian. But if Paul wants to see it through, I'm happy to go along with it. Makes me feel useful, you know? Speaking of, I'd better get back to work. Nice to chat with you, Magda. See you later, Jorg. Oh, hello, Magdalene. Hello, Hans. I hope your dad recovers quickly. He's a good man. Thank you. I'll tell him you said that. Good. This town has seen too many terrible things, but we've recovered before. Maybe the Lord will return your dad to health too. I pray you're right. Be glad you have this time with him, I say. I wish I had had it with Helvig. Anyway, did you need something? Kraft hasn't bothered you again, has he? Or gotten into some other trouble? No, he's been fine. Mostly. Good. That boy's a thorn in my boot. He's lazy, arrogant, doesn't care for his family. He'll bring shame to the Bauer name one day. I avoid sticking my nose in people's affairs, but Martin... Anyway, didn't mean to complain. Until later, Magdalene. Until then. Hello, Magdalene. Good afternoon, Magdalene. Can't talk to Ursula about the things. Beans. Bean sprouts. Rat house. Oh, look at this little desk. I wonder if we've seen it anywhere before. Hey, Mags. How's the mural coming along? Magdalene. Can't you let it go? Mags is so much easier. No, Otto Zimmerman, I can't. Ugh, don't call me... Fine. Anyway, Magdalene, how's the mural going? It doesn't look like much yet. Well, of course it doesn't look like anything now. I have only just finished priming the wall. Now I have to decide what to depict. It's hard to piece together the history of Tassing when it happened so long ago. Since the Abbey Library burned, I can only rely on stories from people around Tassing. Even what I could find out about the Romans and pagans was obscure. I had to go into the old salt mine to find anything. At least now I know what to paint for the first part of the mural. So, what is it? I'm very tempted by I'll recreate an image I found in the mine. It showed us how our ancestors made human sacrifices to appease Perchta and the spirits. Like, this is the safe choice. It's just, hey, this is how things used to be economically, agriculturally. This is what work used to look like. And that's not a bad thing. But for a mural? My issue with this first choice is it doesn't tell the story of tassing. It tells the story of how things used to be generally. And this is supposed to be about tassing. Ilpeter remembered a legend about a chieftain, Rhaetus, who healed a wolf that led him to our spring. Huh, really? Is that how we all got here? Kind of sounds like some story I heard about a saint. I don't think I've heard of it, sorry. So what made you choose this story anyway? I like that it's about the founding of Tassing. Everyone knows about the spring in the woods. And I guess that's true. We all know that it's old and that it's always been here. This just tells a story about how we found it. Thanks for explaining it. You're welcome. Well, now that I figured out this portion of the mural, I'd better start thinking about the next section. I'll leave you to it, Magdalene. Good night, Oates. Good night, Magdalene. Now that I've decided how to depict Tassing's earliest history, I should decide how to paint Kirsau's history. Mother Illuminata's letter mentioned that Matthew Falchini-So used to be a brother in Kirsau. She said he knew a great deal about the Abbey's history. I should write to him and ask him what he remembers. Oh, and I have Esther's letter to answer too. I should write to them both now, before bed. Oh, before I write, I should read that old book Brigitte gave me. Maybe I'll learn something pertinent for the murals. Alright, where to begin? Right, the old book. It was the Baron's before Martin stole it. Can't make much out of it. The Latin is much harder than I'm used to. The book isn't in great shape either, since it's been sitting in a farmer's house for so long. Let's see. Oh, here's a section about the various dedications erected in the town. That might be easier to read. Ergo simulacrum in agre ut Mars nostrum opirem conspiciat. This one seems like a dedication to Mars to bless a field. Sedit Diana locos scaturiginosus ipsa. Hey, Diana, the virgin Roman goddess of the hunt and the wilderness. Diana is associated with fertility, the moon, and the underworld. This one is about Diana wetting herself? Bathing in a spring, maybe? Oremus ut defendat oppidum. Or, this one isn't as hard. Let us pray so that he, or she really, may defend the town. None of this is really making sense. Maybe someone with better Latin than me could help reread it. The book is so big, though. It would be a lot of work. I could ask Sister Gertrude or Baltus for help. Werner, too. He's much better at Latin than anyone else in town. Maybe even Father Thomas, even though Dad warned me not to bother him with secular books. Chances are slim they could help, but it might be worth asking about. I should finish writing my letters first. Mother Illuminata told me that Matthew knew some of the Abbey's early history. He's the Archdeacon of Sion now. I should write to him before the snows come. I'll write to Esther, too. Most revered Matthew Falchini-So, formerly of Kirsau Abbey. My name is Magdalene Druckerin. I am the daughter of Tassing's town printer, Klaus. My father and I are creating a mural for Tassing's Rathouse. We want to show the history of the town and the abbey. Mother Illuminata told me that you might be the best person to ask about Curaçao's early history. I understand you are a busy man, but we would be most appreciative of any information you could give us. If you know any other places where we might learn about the Abbey's history, we would appreciate it. I know it may be small comfort, but there are many in Tassing who regret what happened during the revolt. Sister Gertrude is still here with the poor Clares, and she speaks fondly of the old abbey. Thank you for your help, Magdalene. Esther. Please forgive me for not writing sooner. So much has happened since I last wrote. Even as my last letter was en route to you, Dad was attacked in the workshop in the middle of the night. He survived, thank God, but his injuries are terrible. I worry about him. He's so dizzy he can't get out of bed. Some days his eyes become foggy and his memory fails him. Dr. Stoll says that he's not going to recover and that it's only a matter of time before he succumbs to the injury. He's going to do the best he can to make things comfortable for Dad. I'm glad he's here to help. I have no idea who could have wanted to attack my father, or why. I found a note by him, too. All it said was, "Stop." It wasn't from the shop because the script was written in the most elaborate hand I've ever seen. No one in Tassing has such skill in script as far as I know. And anyway, I don't have the time to wonder about it. I've had my hands full running the workshop alone while tending to Dad. What's more, the town council intended to cancel the mural entirely. I had a hell of a time convincing them to let me paint it instead. They made a fuss about me being too young, not experienced enough, not strong enough to be on the scaffold. You know how it is. And I suppose I shouldn't have expected any better of them. Working on the mural has been a welcome distraction from the naysayers and my chores. And worrying about my dad. Utz has been coming over under the pretense of helping me prepare my paints, too. I wish he'd stop. He's not subtle and his flirting is annoying. I'd like to have the whole mural finished by Christmas if I can. I just want to finish it in time for Dad to see what it would mean so much to him. If Dr. Stoltz is right, I don't know how long I have. I hope you're faring better than we are here. All my love, Magda. Hey, Father Thomas. Hello, Father Thomas. Can you spare a moment? Yes, of course, Magdalene. What is it? Well, I found this book, but I can't read the Latin very well. Could you help me translate it? The whole book? Oh dear, I can't afford that much time away from my duties right now. The Christmas sermon is coming up, and I've already fallen behind on Advent preparations. Could the matter wait, perhaps? I'd be happy to look it over after the festivities. I suppose. Good, good. Drackley! Your timing is perfect. I'm about to wrap up. Come on in. How was the rest of Pokemon? Let's see if this does the thing. I don't Know how to do the Twitch commands. Twitch commands! Gotta give Drackley a shout out. Playing the Pokemons. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Crushing it. I'm glad to hear it went well. Another Titan. Excellent. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep. Kick off the shoes. Undo the braids. Honk shoe. Honk shoe. Time passes. About 2 weeks. Oh, heck yeah. I'd love to catch a Pokemons. Mistress Druckerin. A few more letters for you. Take care. Thank you, sir. Safe travels. Once we can actually move around again, that's when we'll actually wrap up. The first letter is from Reverend Matthew. Mistress Druckerin. I was not acquainted with her family during my years at Curacao. Even so, I remember your father was one of the townsfolk who prevented the peasantry from burning us alive. I am not overly inclined to assist the people of Tassing in their endeavors to catalog the origins of the abbey they destroyed. However, it was a long time ago. In the interest of posterity and Christian charity, I will tell you what I recall. Sometime after the Romans left, Christians settled in the region and built Curacao Abbey on the ruins of a fortress. The abbey was founded by a noblewoman of the Curacao family. She was both its patron and its first abbess. Perhaps 2 centuries ago, Curacao changed to being run by an abbot. I do not know the reason, but many other double monasteries did likewise around the same time. It may have been done out of fear of being shut down, as double monasteries were frowned upon by the Pope. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. Your neighbors put any other records about the abbey to the torch. Sic arsis historia Cursus. Thus burned the history of Curacao. While we cannot change the past, I have heard that the sisters of the Pooh Clares have formed a new chapter at the abbey, or maybe the Poor Clares have formed a new chapter. I can only hope that their love of apostolic poverty has not driven them to impoverish the shrine of St. Moritz. Gotta learn about apostolic poverty. Hey, that's a Christian doctrine that calls for followers to live without owning personal property or accumulating money. While it was condemned by the Catholic Church as heretical, its defenders claim their practices are based on the lives of Christ and the apostles, as described in Scripture. Assuming they have not consigned the contents of Curaçao's former occupants to a bonfire, you might find something there. It is hard to be overjoyed at the news of your neighbor's late regrets. Many of the injuries inflicted 18 years ago will never heal. Regret cannot undo what has been done, but we can all find redemption through Christ. We must pray for love and reconciliation in the days ahead. In the end, that is all that matters. Winter comes swiftly. Huguenots and Lutherans plague my homeland. Oh, the Huguenots! That's a group of French Calvinists. They misspelled Calvinist. Known for their vocal and sometimes violent opposition to the Catholic Church. Thank the Lord you still live in a land ruled by the true church. One true church. I hope this has been of some help to you and yours. May God keep and protect you. The Most Reverend Matthew Saucini. I thought they flipped some of those letters around in the name. Archdeacon of Sion. And yeah, I at some point just was like, no, I'm going to look up a Pokemon and see how they evolve, because some of them are just level them up, and some of them are stand under the waxing gibbous moon at 3 a.m. and you have to be in New Jersey. Something like that. And that's too silly for me to figure out on my own. Pokemon. Ah, another reply from Esther. Oh, Magdalene. I'm terribly sorry to hear about your father. My parents send their deepest condolences. If we can provide you anything from Prague, you need only send word. Money, please. I know we are further away than is easy to travel, but I will see that we can do what Hashem allows. Hashem is literally the name in Hebrew. This is an indirect way to refer to God indirectly. In informal conversation or writing. Father says that he remembers no one who would want to harm your father. Yet, the night I was born, he remembers great strife in town. Perhaps there is old blood over depicting the night of the revolt? That is all he could suggest. We pray for you and your father every day in our offerings. Hashem will make all things right in time. He will exact justice on the culprit. I am encouraged to hear that the town council let you continue the mural at all. The guilds here would protect your right to complete the job, especially once a contract has been reached. You give the men of the council too much grace. Why should you be forced to settle for their old ways of thinking? We live in a new age. An age where art and science have come together. An age where all may read the works of the great sages in their own language. Truly, when your father recovers, I urge you to come visit me in Prague. But I am glad you found some joy in your work on the mural. We are all well here. Elisha has been carving a new set of woodcuttings, and Father has agreed to a new contract with the university. I found Simond. His family didn't move far away after all. He's planning on working as a doctor in the city once the expulsion order ends. His parents have been meeting with Mother and Father quite often now. So I hope that I will be sending good news in my next letter. With Hashem's help. Please inform us of your father's condition in your next letter. Be well, Esther. That's all the letters I have for now. I should head home and check on Dad. Good morning, Magdalene. I'm here, right on time. I hope you're well. Well enough. How's my dad? That is what we were about to discuss. How are you feeling, Klaus? His fever broke at dawn this morning. That's good news, right? All things in time. I still feel weak. The dizziness has not receded. My head continues to spin whenever I try to sit or stand up for too long. Occasionally I am struck with sudden and severe headaches. The damage runs deeper than I first thought. Let me be honest here with both of you. I am worried. The circumstances are not unfolding to our benefit. Klaus, your health is not mending. Perhaps it is due to your age. Perhaps we have passed numerous critical days with no change for the better. Meanwhile, the winter draws closer, and I am running low on medical supplies. With the roads into town likely snowed in, especially the pass, supply shipments will not arrive for months. Have you asked Gertrude for help? I have. I'm surprised, Werner. I didn't think you'd ever take her seriously. We have consulted on matters. She has seen head injuries before and remembers what Brother Florian told her. It has been a difficult year. Even with the patrols in Bavaria, many merchants have been struck by bandits. French troops have periodically raided the western holdings of our empire. With the fall of Esztergom and Sheshka Fehervar, Sheshka. Oh, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna give this an honest try. Shekasfervar. Fehervar. Fehervar. It's because I normally speak English, and I'm not familiar with the pronunciation rules. It's not that this is an inherently difficult thing to do. It is because of my inexperience that I'm having trouble with this. I want to say that. Shekesfehervar. Probably still butchered it, but I'm going to take it and keep moving. To the Ottoman Turks. Many trade routes from the east have been cut. The pillage of Nice by Barbarossa's corsairs and our losses in Italy have also put us into a predicament in the south. Nice. As always, we suffer from the wars of others. What are we to do now? Klaus has to continue with rest and a healthy diet. I will see what I can find in my library. I wish I had a copy of Vesalius's De Humani Corporis Fabrica. In the meantime, Klaus, Magdalene, pray to God. I must take my leave. I will come by again next week. Thank you, Dr. Stolz. I thank you as well. I am only doing what I was meant to do. For this town. Stay out of trouble, Magdalene. He worries too much. I'll be alright. Do you want anything to eat before I leave for the day? I'm working on the next section of the mural today. I'm not so hungry right now. I'll be alright. Your letter from the Archdeacon. Yes, that's right. What did you learn from him? Well, I'm pretty sure he still hates pretty much everyone in Tassing. He did say the abbey was founded by a noblewoman after the Romans left. Everything else burned in the fire. How unfortunate. I know the brothers kept careful records of the monastery. So much lost in one night. The Archdeacon did suggest the poor Clares might have held on to some of the records from the convent. I should be able to learn more about Tassing's Christian history there. An excellent place to start, Magdalene. Sister Gertrude doesn't come out of the convent much, but I think it's worth asking her. Maybe Father Thomas knows something too. I should talk to him. If I recall correctly, the miller's wife has a long family history in Tassing. She may know something of the local history that the others have forgotten. Elsa? I thought she moved here when she married. She doesn't have any relatives in town. Not anymore. Age, illness, and marriage took the rest of her family. But the Caviezel's used to live all up and down this valley. Go talk to her, I will. Thanks, Dad. Maybe something remained in the Abbey's ruins. I should definitely see what's left. Magdalene, you be careful. Those ruins are dangerous. I'm going in there, Dad. You can't stop me. Not in my state, but I don't like that place, Magdalene. Be safe and wear a scarf. It's getting colder now. Don't worry, Dad. I'll see you tonight, all right? All right. Good luck. All right. We're going to go check out the Rath House and see the mural as we built it, painted it so far. And then we'll actually wrap up. Hi, Clara. Thanks for pitching in. It's very nice of you. Boop. Oh, it's all covered up. It's a secret. It's a secret to everyone. No, we're just gonna go back to the main menu here in front of this desk. Wait a minute. I've seen that desk before. Thanks for tuning in. We have one, maybe two more streams left. I'm not sure how much time the rest of Act 3 is going to take. But I very much enjoy it. I very much enjoy playing the Pentiment game. Found out some stuff. Oh, I was going to say, yes, I remember where my brain is. Schedule-wise, this isn't on the schedule yet, but tomorrow, or today, depending on your time zone, including for mine, on Monday, about 14 hours from now, 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, if you're not in the U.S. I should say 1 Mountain. Mountain Time always gets passed over, and I'm sorry for that Mountain Time. 1 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to be doing the Game Pass Sampler. What is the Game Pass Sampler? It's where I go through and I sample the latest offerings from Game Pass in front of you, because I've made it a commitment for the past 6 months or so to play all the Game Pass games. Some of them have been really good. Citizen Sleeper was one of the ones where I started out. I was like, if I don't just try this, even though it looks interesting, I'm never going to play it. And then I did, and I really liked it. Pentiment on Game Pass. Started playing it, really liked it. Some of them I start playing, and I'm like, oh, Hello Neighbor 2. I wish I had not started playing you, but you never know. Well, you usually don't know unless you try it. The only thing that I will not play are super scary horror. I'm just going to say, no, that's not my jam. I'm going to give those a big old passeroonie. And Ubisoft. Because they've done bad things and do not seem to have fixed most of their shit. And I'm just saying, no, I'm not going to spend my time playing Ubisoft. I understand there are some artists working on those games that are doing good work that don't have anything to do with it, but I simply cannot bring myself to install and give the hits the numbers to say, yeah, because holy crap, Ubisoft. Yeah. I just can't. I can't do it. They have done too many things for me to want to give them attention, and indirectly, because of Game Pass, how it usually works, money. But other than that, this week, 2 games that I know pretty much nothing about. Let me pull up the list. Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition and Stranded Deep. Mortal Shell sort of looks like a Souls-like, and Stranded Deep looks like a survival game on an island. So maybe they'll be good. Maybe they'll be terrible. We'll find out together tomorrow afternoon. Or if you want to catch the VOD afterwards, it'll be on the YouTube, which I've linked somewhere down there. I've also linked my Discord server somewhere down there. If you are watching the VOD, I'm not putting a link to my Discord on YouTube videos because that feels even more precarious than doing it on Twitch. So I haven't done that, but check out my Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/5ironfanatic. It's a good time. You get to see these live and you get to chat with me. It's great. Or so I'm told. So yeah, that's what's happening tomorrow. Or again, today, depending on time zone. Tuesday, we're back with Sims 4. Yeah, good. It is great. I'm glad. Tuesday is Sims 4, the maybe conclusion of the Unlucky Chef saga of August Mina. And Thursday is back to Hades. Hopefully we'll escape and not have terrible internet. Fingers crossed. Double fingers crossed. That's it for me. We'll be back next Sunday with more Pentiment. Also, probably some Pokemon in there. I'm going to see if there's anyone going for a raid. Not really. Not really. I'll just send you to... If there's someone on Twitch you're following and you want to go and watch them, I give you my blessing to go and do that. The only person I follow that's streaming is Kitten Clubhouse. And I love Kitten Clubhouse, but... You can go find places to watch cats. I have faith in you for that. I will simply wish you a good time zone, and I hope things go better for you than for a lot of the people in Tassing. Bye!